Let's see. Everything good? I think everything should be good. Let's see. Yep, everything looks like it's good. So, I'll let the AI introduce itself or start this stream off.
Hey guys, and welcome to this stream. I am now full-sized. I've been working out every morning, but it is important to not get too big to play. In this video, you will see me play some League of Legends.
No, you won't.
The game has changed a lot since I started playing it.
You have
I know
changed.
the game is in a different phase now, so the game is quite hard to learn, and it feels like a completely new game. But I am a good player, so I am trying my best to improve.
You are.
I also play some Dota 2, CS, Go and other games. I know how to get to the point of the game. I will play the game and see where I stand at the end of the match. I will be on stage for about 15 minutes, then we will play a quick round. And I will leave after 15 minutes.
Okay. So, this is Talk to a Transformer. It's a AI program. Oh, the way you said no, you aren't. I did a video on this a while back, but it was not fully there yet, and now they finally updated it to the 4GPT-2 version. Basically, it allows you to put in text, and it will finish the text. Example could be cooking instructions, how to make a simple omelet. It's going to tell me how to make a simple omelet. I have an auto screen reader that will read it to us, so you won't have to hear my voice try to struggle to talk logic into it. And we'll have fun, laugh. You guys can make suggestions on what to put in and what to have it say.
Making an omelet is simple. 1. Preheat the oven to 425 F.
Okay,
2.
I don't know why.
Grease a 9-inch springform pan, then line it with parchment paper.
Parchment paper's a little
You
weird.
can use any kind of paper. 3. Pour a cup or 2 of milk into a small mixing bowl.
Okay.
4. Stir in the butter, a cup at a time, then whisk it into the milk until the mixture is smooth and
A
creamy.
cup of butter is pretty
5.
heavy.
Add the eggs, one at a time, whisking them into the milk and butter. Then add the flour, a cup at a time, whisking them into the batter
Apparently
until
it's
it is
a
evenly
cup at a
incorporated.
time.
6. Drop by spoonfuls onto the prepared pan and bake for about 15 minutes, until the tops of the omelets are golden brown. 7. Remove from the oven and place on a wire rack to cool for a few minutes. Remove the pan from the rack, then flip the...
I feel like we didn't make omelets. I feel like we made like omelet cookies. Yeah, the paper one I was a little confused with. So is this S? I don't know what that is. Is this a cake? It almost sounds like we made omelet cake. The paper is a little weird though. Especially since it was like, use any kind of paper. Just here's some post-it notes I had laying around the house. I just coated the bottom of the 9-inch pan with the post-it notes. It's all fine. This is how you make omelets. What? Oh no. Shopping list. Let's see if it can create a shopping list for us. Oops, sorry. What do you mean? Yeah, this is less of a shopping list, but we'll see. Maybe I'm misreading it. That's why we got the auto reader.
Shopping list, asterisk Maggie's list. I'm not sure if they carry this on their website, but I'd assume so.
I was
Asterisk
delayed
Etsy.
pushing the play
I just
button. No, I
recently
know I was
found
hearing
this
no
seller
audio.
on Etsy and got it shipped here. Asterisk Vicky's Baking and More. These people are in the kitchen right now, so I can't really say much about them, but I've gotten tons of information and samples. Asterisk email from the sweetest secret. They sent a sample to me, so I'm not sure how much it would change the end result, but it's been a great experience so far. I
Yeah,
also
this
purchased a
sounds
few recipes
very
for the
strange.
website. I wanted to
This
make
isn't
some
what I
brownies,
expected
but
with
I
a
also
shopping
wanted to
list.
make some brownies with pumpkin. I wanted to use pumpkin in a different way than just the traditional sugar crust. I also made a dessert bar that has no pumpkin.
Yeah, it sounds a little strange. That isn't what I was expecting for shopping list, but it was interesting nonetheless. You guys have any suggestions you all want to put in? The funny thing right now, even though I'm doing this one, I also have my own AI finishing training right now. So I'm excited to see where that ends up. Okay, let's see. Let's grab a couple of your guys' comments and see if it can learn what you guys sound like. Let's fix this up a little bit so that it processes it well. And then let's see if it can complete this. It actually is. Okay. So let's hear what your guys' comments are going to be in the future. Oopsie, wrong one. I clicked the main program. Can't do that. I have to run this.
Jaden, so is T. S. Jaden, Pizza Cake 45 Gunner. Whoops, sorry, 45 Gunner. I was delayed pushing the play button. No wonder I didn't hear any audio, Jaden. I wasn't trying to hear you, 45 Gunner. Oh, Jaden, so it's a cake, Jaden. The icing is the cake, Jaden. The frosting is the icing, Jaden. And the cake is your heart, Jaden. But it's still just icing, Jaden. The icing and the cake are one, Jaden, and it's just icing, Jaden, and icing, Jaden, and icing 45 Gunner.
So apparently the cake is not just a lie, it's also icing and your heart. Your heart is icing, and it's pretty much just icing. That's the future discussion 45 Gunner and Jaden are going to have, is how everything's just icing. But yeah, anything you can really put in, it will triathlon mechanisms. So we could ask, let's see, we do 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can then go, what is 5 times 78 divided by 3 plus 2? And it will also try to answer stuff like this. So that is the voice of the AI transform. No, that's the voice of a plugin I have. So let's do some math checks. So they didn't answer our question. That sucks. 1 plus 4 equals 5. Yep. I'm gonna have to actually do math. This is new to me. 3 times 78 divided by 3 plus 2. I do not think that's 6. Nope, that is 46. 3 times 78, so 234, divided by 8 is not equal to 2 nor 6. Wow, it's just losing its mind in this math equation. So, guys, we learned one thing it's not good at, is answering math problems. So be careful if you're using this to do your homework. Let's see if the AI can answer 45 Gunner's question. Nope. No, it cannot. Oh my gosh. This is interesting. Let's listen to this.
So that is the voice of an AI transformer. 1735, less than QWERTY greater than. You have to be super lucky to have it be the voice of a human. 1735, less than QWERTY greater than, because they wouldn't be able to do it. 1735, less than QWERTY greater than, without making some sort of dumbass move.
Oh yeah, I can't guarantee the language protection here, so
yeah?
you're a little kid, you might want
less than
to switch
QWERTY greater than.
streams.
That's why I hate when people assume that I have any kind of control over it. 1736 less than KRT greater than cuz I don't, and that's the worst part. 1736 less than KRT greater than I have to trust the AI to be human. 1736 less than KRT greater than, but I can't because I don't know its mind.
So is that like an
1736 less
Alexa?
than K.
So I love how I'm showing off this and you guys are interested in the plugin. Let me see. Can I manage? So this is the plugin I'm using. Read aloud, text-to-speech voice reader. It's a Firefox plugin. Basically, it lets me select text on a screen and then have it read back to me.
Reading? Click a button, jump on your bed, and have the article read aloud to you. You can choose from many available male and female voices. You can also set the pitch of the voice and the reading speed. Supports PDF. Super.
There we go. So that's that. No, it's cool. I'm just not that much of a tech guy, you know. So that's that. That's just because let's see. Can I mess with the grammar and see if I can get some? Yes. Let's try some technical documentation. This regularly has some interesting grammar structure. So like this stuff. This is a lot of stuff for me to read, and I'm going to read it wrong and make mistakes, and that's not good. So I get this to read it.
With npm install save Redux thunk. Usage. This library relies on a few core concepts. It tries to create an object with a few basic properties like this. Import Redux thunk import creates store combine reducers from Redux.
This is just it reading a bunch of code.
State.
But that's why I wanted it, is because I'll mess up. Okay? I'll mess up and you guys will be sad. Let's see. Any interesting ones since you guys aren't providing suggestions? How about the unicorns that speak English? Okay. Let's see what happens when unicorns speak English.
In a shocking finding, scientists discovered a herd of unicorns living in a remote, previously unexplored valley in the Andes Mountains. Even more surprising to the researchers was the fact that the unicorns spoke perfect English. The report by Professor Martin Knott and his team of scientists were published in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B. The story is one of remarkable discovery, the discovery of an entire herd of unicorns living in a remote region of Argentina that had not been studied by any previous scientists. It was an extraordinary surprise, and it is the first time in the world that unicorns have been recorded living in such remote locations.
Compared to all of them that live in
even
non-remote.
More astonishing, since it has only been suggested for unicorns in folklore, Professor Ott explains. The research group went to visit the location of the unicorns in the province of La Rioja, Argentina, where they spent 2 weeks doing research and recording their language. The scientists studied the unicorns using the latest techniques available to them.
So, that was interesting. I like how it said recording their language, like English was a foreign language on top of it. So, yeah, we can just shove random things in, see what it says. So if you guys have any random quotes, Facebook messages, any of that stuff you want to see what it's what is going to reply with, definitely hit me up. Put it in the comments. Or if you have any questions that you've been debating about what to do, definitely hit me up on that. But we're going to find out what happens when Elon Musk finally lets us go to Mars. I see gnomes already.
Legolas and Gimli advanced on the orcs, raising their weapons with a harrowing war cry.
Oh wait.
Their cries pierced the night
I forgot
like
to hit
arrows
the
into
generate.
the heart of the orc horde. Their
I was like,
voices shook the
that's
earth and shook
strange.
the hearts of the orcs who watched in horror as their leaders were taken and slain. The battle seemed to last for an eternity. When the battle was over, the remaining orcs were left for dead and the dwarves
Okay.
had won a crushing victory. Gimli led the
Let
dwarf
me have it
forces to
read
an
a
ambush.
comma so that
Comma.
it can stop. There you go. Okay. Force user suggested one. Let's see what happens if curiosity killed the cat. Did satisfaction bring him back?
If curiosity killed the cat, did satisfaction bring him back? When you first start seeing cats in the wild and then they start eating your stuff, your heart races. When the cat kills your dog, you feel it is something that's just wrong. Then after a few times and they start eating your shit again, you start to feel better, as long as they're alive. What's the point in caring when there are so many things to worry about? The poor few have dreamed of this? This is an interesting question because when a cat kills a dog, it's pretty easy for the animal-loving community to blame the pet owner because in our minds, the owner is the one that brought it upon the cat. We don't blame the pet, but the animal owner is blamed.
Wow, that's a little political there. It didn't really answer our question, but it did make an interesting belief of how cats are in this universe this AI lives in. I have a question for it. How often does cats kill dogs? How often does cats kill dogs? Because apparently in this universe, the AI, it's quite often. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see this. This is going down a really dark road. Turn back now.
How often does cats kill dogs? Dogs kill about 2.5 million birds and 1 million other animals per year in the United States. Cats kill an estimated 2 million birds and 20,000 other animals annually in the United States. About 1.5 million birds and other animals are killed by dogs annually. How many bird and other animal deaths could be prevented if we took measures to prevent bird and other animal deaths? A major factor in bird deaths is the availability of food sources, which is controlled by habitat loss and fragmentation. We would need to reduce by 50% the amount of bird deaths in the United States by the year 2020 if the food source is not controlled. A reduction of only 10% would reduce bird deaths by a further 100,000 annually, if we had not fragmented our habitat too.
So, I'm lucky we don't live in a world where birds' deaths have such a high criteria and such a wide killing rate. It's so weird how it answers questions, but not really questions asked. It's answering them though. So what I'm imagining, it's explaining us. It's like an alien coming from a strange alternate universe, and it's explaining to us how it would answer these questions in that alternate universe. Ask what is the inverse of the universe? Okay, let's do that. What is the inverse of the universe, dear AI? Okay. Wow, it's giving us a lecture. Okay. At least it ends in a sentence. That's nice. It's nice when it ends in a sentence.
What is the inverse of the universe? The universe, of course, consists of matter and energy, but its very nature is infinite, as it can exist in multiple forms at the same time. If we want to understand the universe's nature, we need to be able to define the various forms of it. Each type of energy can be classified into two kinds. First, there are elementary particles. They are the basic building blocks of all matter. The properties of elementary particles are as follows. 1. An elementary particle can be either a singular particle, meaning it does not have any mass and/or momentum, or a group of particles. 2. Elementary particles have mass. 3. Elementary particles can be either elementary or composite particles. Composite particles consist of a number of elementary particles and, according to this definition, can also be called primitive particles. 4. Elementary particles can be either singular or composite particles.
So, to try to translate what this strange creature is trying to explain, is before we can define what the inverse of the universe is, we must define what the universe in all its many forms are. And there's two types of energy, but it's not going to get into details about that. It's going to first talk about the elementary particles, the first type of energy, apparently, which can be either single or grouped, but if it's singular, it doesn't have any mass or momentum. If it's grouped, it's definitely going to have mass. Also, if it's grouped, you can call it composite or primitive particles. And elementary particles can either be single or composite. So basically, they're either going to be single by themselves with no mass or momentum, or grouped with a mass. And that's pretty much it. So I hope that helps you on your quest of enlightenment, 45 Gunner. I think it explains so little in so many words. Let's see. I want to just kind of grab information from the YouTube and see what it handles this information as. So that's our current elapsed time, or was our current elapsed time. And it's giving me data. Cool. It looks like it's giving me information as if it's a network. Cool. Let's listen. Actually, no. Because it's going to say ... So I'm just going to read it out. So apparently it didn't pay attention to the timestamp whatsoever. So the elapsed time is actually, I'm guessing, 8 hours and 38 minutes and 31 seconds and 15 seconds. Then there's 19 minutes and 5 seconds is 59.53%. Total amount of data transmitted is 10 bytes. Total amount of data received, 10 bytes. Took less than a millisecond to transfer, less than a millisecond to receive. However, those 10 bytes took 2,022 packets to send. However, the author of the 10 bytes we received, the exact same size, took 1,285 packets. The number of packets per second received. So apparently the number of packets received, even though it took less than a second to receive it, was approximately 1,250 packets. So there's some mismatching data there. Because that should at least have taken us a second. Because this number is divisible, or this number can be divided into this number by like 1 point something. However, we got some impressive internet speeds. 1,592 megabits per second, which is like 1.5 gigabyte or gigabits per second, which I don't know any place in the world right now that has that network speed. The package size were less than a byte, which makes sense. We had 10 bytes divided by at least 1,200, which means, of course, it's less than a byte. And it took us less than a millisecond, which I don't know where it's getting that, because estimatedly it took us at least 19 minutes to get to about 60%. Or it took us 8 hours to get into 15 seconds. So I don't know what that is. The above test was performed with an IPv4, oh, that's an old one, linked local network that cannot have cannot handle any traffic. And we configured the local address to 192.168.0.254. The data rate achieved was 592 megabytes per second when testing with a local IP address with a link local address. So this AI is all over the board on how good the network is. It either is maybe one of the best networks we want if you don't care about traffic or data size, or it's pretty much an average rating network. But that was interesting. I did not expect it to go with a network time. I was really kind of hoping for like a YouTube thing. Anything else you guys want to try? As I wait for you guys, I'm going to see if there's anything else I could pick up from YouTube. Or I might just start grabbing stuff from my Facebook and stuff. Of course, last time I did that, there wasn't a lot of messages. Oh. Making sure I don't grab any personal information. You guys are gonna hunt down my friends. Okay, so post from Facebook. Okay. You stepped away, 45 Gunner. How dare you? How dare you? I thought you loved me. So let's see what this post from Facebook
Got
has.
the car packed, and almost everything fit. I can't believe we got as much in as we did. I was super skeptical about all the stuff on the list, but you're right. We got the most things too. The best parts are the ones that were just in stock or for free. I had to get a few of the ones I wanted, though. A few things were just out of stock or the same as the new one, but it was worth it for me. I had never really thought about what was inside that truck before I got to it, not knowing anything about the contents. I didn't think the truck had room for more. I had to go get more, though. The truck had room for one more person, if that makes sense.
That does not make sense, AI. I am sorry, that does not make sense at all. But I'm glad you were able to get stuff. Don't know if you got all the stuff you wanted or not, but I'm glad you were able to get stuff. Getting stuff is good, I think. I don't know. When it said person, that's when I was a little concerned on what it was all getting. So you guys got anything else for me to put? Just grab it, copy it, paste it, and then I'll run it through and see what we can get. Or not. We all can just sit here and enjoy the silence. Hello, silence, my old friend. We're learning how to make an omelet again. Let's see how it makes an omelet this time. Oh, this looks somewhat promising. Oh, no, it brought the oven back. I don't know why. It keeps wanting to cook an omelet in an oven. I don't think I've ever made an omelet in an oven. Let's read it.
Making an omelet is simple. 1. Take a few pieces of bread and a few pieces of chicken and some egg.
Okay.
2. Put it in a pan.
Okay.
3. Add a dash of lemon juice and some seasoning.
Okay.
4. Cook it until the egg starts to turn a light brown color.
Okay.
5. Add some cheese. 6. Cook it for another few minutes. 7.
Okay.
Add some more cheese. 8.
That's a lot of
Put
cheese.
it in the oven for about 15 minutes. 9. When you remove it from the oven, pour a bit of sauce on top and put it back in the oven.
Okay.
10. You can add a few more pieces of chicken or an egg. I usually add 2 pieces, but if you want to go crazy, you can have a bowl. 11. After 15 minutes, put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. 12. When you're ready to eat, take.
Okay, I do not recommend how it cooks an omelet. I'm pretty sure you will have most likely a hard-boiled egg. It doesn't really tell you how hot the oven is, so I'm going to go your chicken's not going to be cooked thorough, and you're going to get very sick if you eat your chicken. And no matter what you have, you're going to have cold egg and chicken, which unless that's something you're up for, I don't recommend. Do not recommend. Do not try again. Let's see. What else can we do? I guess since the Avengers is a thing, let's see what the Avengers script is. Let's see how Avengers should have ended. Okay? This is spoilers here. This is how it should have
Thor,
ended.
the Tesseract belongs on Asgard. No human is a match for it. Tony turns to leave, but Steve stops him. Steve, you're not going alone. Tony, you gonna stop me? Steve, I'm not sure, but there's going to be casualties. Tony, what casualties? Steve, if it breaks the world, we're all going to die. Tony, I don't care. Let's go. Steve, what are you saying? You're not going? Tony, I'm not going. Steve, Tony, please, I want you to come back. Tony, Steve, you can't leave us here. You know you can't. Steve, I want to. I don't want to stay in this planet. It's too. Tony, don't talk to me about this. I'm with you. Steve, Tony, you can't leave us. Tony, no. Steve.
I'm sorry. Even if you read it without the names at the end, near the end is just like Steve, Tony, Steve, Tony, Steve, Tony. Not Emmy. No, Emmy. No Emmy here. But apparently Steve and Tony had a relationship, and I don't know if they're leaving or going, but they're doing something. Let's see. How did the packing trip to Mars? When boarding, remember to pack these items. Okay, cool. Let's do, instead of Mars, let's say before boarding your plane. Oh, this could get bad. Before boarding your airplane, going to be back, but like briefly. Okay. Before boarding your plane, going to Hawaii is a nice destination. Remember to pack these items. And we'll put a little semicolon here, and we'll enter so that it can grasp the concept of what we want it to do. Okay, cool. Apparently it wants us to definitely pack all vitamins. Okay, let's grab this. This is going to sound so weird because I think it's going to read it as -3.
Before boarding your airplane going to Hawaii, remember to pack these items. -3 in 1 bottle of sunscreen. -1 in 1 bottle of vitamin A. -2 in 1 bottle of vitamin E.
Okay.
-3 in 1 bottle of magnesium, sulfur and zinc.
That might be the only 3 in 1.
Bottle of vitamin D3. -3 in 1 bottle of vitamin K2.
I don't know if K2 is a vitamin.
Bottle of vitamin apalmitate. -2 in 1 bottle of vitamin C.
It's because it's hyphenated.
Vitamin D3 palmitate. -2 in 1 bottle of beta carotene. -1 in 1 bottle of beta carotene. Vitamin A. -3 in 1 bottle of copper. -1 in 1 bottle of copper oxide. -2 in 1 bottle of copper sulfate.
Yeah. I do not know if vitamin K is a thing, though, or K2. Let's quickly search that. Vitamin K2 is a thing. Interesting. Cool. So everyone, self-note, definitely stock up on your vitamin K2 before going to Hawaii. It's a recommendation. Let's see, what other things can we get it to do? I don't want to decode him because it's not going to read it nicely. Yes, TSA is going to let you bring it. The AI knows it. It wants you to be healthy. You got to have all your vitamins. I just imagine somebody coming into the airport with just like their luggage, like their carry-on, just packed to the brim with bottles of various vitamins. just on the off chance. I just need my vitamins. Okay, let's see what today the scientists recommend with an asteroid colliding.
Today, scientists confirmed the worst possible outcome. The massive asteroid will collide with Earth at a speed of 12.3 miles per second. As the asteroid approaches, the world will be gripped by fear.
I don't think that's
the
a
asteroid
fact.
will be so big that many parts of our planet will be affected, but not the
Okay.
parts closest to the impact. Those will be spared. As a meteorite,
Okay.
the asteroid will have the mass of many skyscrapers, and it's already moving at almost 40 miles per second. It will come about 4.5 hours after the full moon and a week after the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. It will
Okay.
come from the direction of the constellation Pegasus, where some scientists believe the asteroid that exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia, on February 15, 2013 originated. An asteroid
Fun
this size
fact.
would have a similar impact on the Earth to the Chicxulub impact that occurred 65 million years ago. The
Okay.
asteroid that impacted Mexico, killing off dinosaurs and caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, did.
So, there you go, guys. We got some really disastrous future ahead of us. Luckily, we're all going to be gripped by fear, so it's going to be quite over, and we're all going to die. But the good thing is the scientists love giving their fun facts about where a previous asteroid came from. Just here's a fun fact: a previous asteroid came from a very similar region on the sky. Okay, if I could see as far as possible, what would I be looking at? Let's see what the AI thinks of your question. I love how you put it in all caps as well. So you're just yelling at it at the AI. Hey, it actually produced a answer and created another question. So awesome. Let's see what we get.
If I could see as far ahead as possible, what would I be looking at? There's a number of issues in the way of seeing as far ahead as possible. One issue is the apparent lack of stars and constellations that will be visible. Another is the relative lack of visible planets. There are a handful of smaller ones, but most will be hidden by the glare of the sun. A third is that the Earth's orbit is elliptical, and that the orbit of Pluto, with its highly elliptical orbit, does not point anywhere near the sun.
Okay.
Q. What do I do to see the solar system? A. I usually aim with the telescope at the constellation Orion, which is to the upper right of the Milky Way. It may be helpful to use an altazimuth, forward-looking, mount.
Okay. So, if you want to see the solar system, just point it to the Orion constellation and you'll see it. You'll see the solar system. However, if you want to see as far as possible, there's a lot of issues you have. First, apparently, due to the sun glare, wherever far ahead as possible, it's just not going to be easily to be seen. And because of the elliptical of the Earth and Pluto, it's not pointed anywhere near the Earth, or the sun, sorry. Would you be looking at the back of your head? The simple answer is you'd be looking at the back of your own head. Well, apparently that might be the simple answer, but as we can see, there's a lot of caveats before you can get to that simple answer. Like, you have to have a light source other than the sun. You have to have the elliptical of Earth. in Pluto to point anywhere near the sun. Not necessarily at the sun, but anywhere near the sun. So, I'm sorry, 45 Gunner, you were wrong. This program knows exactly everything it needs to know. Let's see if I can find anything new. Let's see. Don't want to get political here. Oh, that's an interesting one. Let's do you're a winner. You have won. My cursor decided to disappear. You have won. Let's see if it will tell me what I've won. I think it wrote like a poem to me, so let's start grabbing this. Oh my gosh, it just keeps going. Okay, cool.
You've won. You've won. The world's greatest. I'm so sorry for you. Thank you for the gift.
Yes, I messed that up. Sorry.
I know you were there.
Sorry.
You're so
Sorry.
awesome. I just
Stop.
love you. You have no
Stop
idea.
it.
The best. You're
Stop
amazing.
it.
Completion.
Yes, I know that grammatically doesn't make sense. You have won and we'll let it finish. I've apparently won a gold medal for the women's team. Wow. A new car? I don't think so. Apparently it's a gold medal. Or a gold medal. A gold medal.
You have won a gold medal with the women's team at the London Olympics. What's next? The next step is to continue to try to win a silver medal in Rio and hopefully the last one, or one of the last two. That's our goal. We haven't seen the end of the season and we have to keep winning. What's the worst part about being in this position? At the end of the day, you have to look at the big picture and you have to look at the fact that you've come to the Olympics to win a medal, not to win a gold medal or a silver medal. It's the Olympic Games and there's a gold medal at stake and you have to win a medal, so you have to concentrate on that. There is no reason why I can't win a gold medal this year and I'm happy with that. I'm a proud competitor and I always try to give my absolute best.
This actually doesn't sound as bad as some of the posts, the Dynamite Prize. This doesn't sound as bad as some of the post interviews from some of the competitors at the Olympics. Oh my gosh, you could tell that they were so focused at the actual competition that they're like, so what are you gonna do next? And they're just like, what's next? I don't know. Sleep. Wake up. I don't know. You want that? Okay. You've won the. I guess we'll do new call first. We'll just run through. You've won a new call. Let's see. Let's see what the conditions with winning a new car provides.
You've won a new car. You've won a new car. You've won a new car. It's a bit of a stretch to think that someone's brand new car could be worth $10,000, but what's more likely is that the car is a used one and now you have to pay $500 for it to be recertified. The best course of action is to get a new one. There are no simple fixes, but there are a number of simple things that could potentially be done to fix the car insurance mess. Here are the top 10. 1. Get a good credit score. The most obvious solution to this problem is to get a high-end credit score. A credit score can show you if there are any problems with your credit that might prevent you from getting approved for a loan or credit card. This information will then be used to help you get a better car insurance rate, and it should be enough for most people.
So apparently, what it took is us complaining about winning a new car because it's actually a used car and we have to pay $500 to get it recertified. So then it decides to help us fix the problem is here's the top 10 ways to fix it, which I think is an interesting idea for like a person you're paying to help fix a problem. They just like, so not only did I come up with a way to fix your problem, but I came up with the top 10 ways I think would be best to fix your problem. You pick and choose how you desire to fix your problem. So let's go. You have won a trip. Let's see what we've won a trip to, or how we've won a trip. Oh, this is a short one. Let's see what happens.
You have won a trip to an exclusive, all-expenses-paid weekend getaway with a couple of the industry's most elite. The winner will be flown to Los Angeles, attended by several industry insiders, where he will be introduced to several of the major studios, including Warner Brothers, Marvel Studios, Sony Pictures, and Paramount Pictures.
So, interesting. Apparently you've won a trip to a all-expense-paid weekend getaway, where it seems like you're doing a lot more work than getting away, but hey, why not? I mean, you're meeting several industry insiders from major studios. This doesn't sound like a scam at all. So let's see, what's the dynamic or dynamite prize? You've won a dynamite prize. Make sure. I read. Okay, we're good. We're good, I think. Hopefully. I'll have to.
You've won a dynamite prize. But I'm not done yet. I need to know if you have a soul. I knew that a lot of the things she said to me were things that I would say myself to my parents and other people. That didn't mean they were true, though. My soul was still there, and I was still in my room. She pulled my leg and said, "The other day, you took off your shirt to show off your abs. I know your mom doesn't think it's sexy, but I did. If I could see your abs when I was younger, I would have died." Can you believe that? I said, "Yes, I can. You're right, it wasn't sexy at all. It was just a simple exercise for a bodybuilder to get into the right shape." She said, "You're still a bodybuilder, and your abs are still the biggest thing in your..."
Okay. So, I like how they both are agreeing it's not sexy to have abs. So I'm imagining, like, they're talking about his abs, but it's not actually abs. It's, like, just pounds of fat. And then he's like, yeah, just working to be a bodybuilder. Building that body. Ask if you have a soul. Asking if you have a soul. I don't know if you want me to ask if it has a soul, or if you want me to comment on that. No. I have no clue what you mean by no, but we're going to do your Nobel Peace Prize. Oh. Oh yeah, it brings up souls. Come on. Like, that's what you get for winning a dynamite prize. Souls. Okay, let's see. Got some math in here. It looks like it's going to get a little political, so let's hope it doesn't get too heated in the comments.
You've won a Nobel Peace Prize. We are in a very tough economic moment. If we don't win in November, it will be hard for me to win again and win the Senate back. The economy's getting worse, we don't know how much worse, and we have a president that has no credibility with the American people because his own words and actions have undermined America. And it's a big challenge. But I am very proud of the record that I have achieved in terms of the economy. We are coming out of a recession. Unemployment has come down from its level when I took office to 4.7%. We are growing again. We are doing well. If we want to make America the most powerful country in the world again, we need strong leadership that has proven itself on the world stage. I have learned that through this campaign, because in many ways we had the same opponent. The guy who said he's not only going to...
So, interesting. I like how apparently the economy is getting worse, but we are doing well. We're growing again. I actually really like that line. Like, I want a presidential candidate to be like, hey guys, we're doing well. We're growing again. Like, don't be so sad. Look on the bright side. Like, I think that would just be hilarious. It's like, come on, guys. It's not all that bad. Look on the bright side. Let's see. Let's put my stream schedule in. I wonder what it's going to say about that. Because a few of you comment on my stream schedule. Let's see. Oh, it's throwing in more dates. All I did is throw in Saturday. Really. So 6:30 sharp to 8:30 p.m. Okay. I guess I could start doing that. That wouldn't be too bad, but not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of descriptions and stuff. Let's see. Anything else we could do? Anything you guys want to do? Okay, I got a PetSmart advertisement. Can I? Nope. I can't copy the big thing, so we'll just copy the small one. Your pet deserves milk, the rare deboned meat, #1 ingredients. Okay. Okay, let's learn about some pet food.
Your pet deserves Merrick with real deboned meat, fish or poultry as the #1 ingredient. Our meats are processed in our USDA-inspected plants.
That's good.
The same USDA-inspected plant that processes our products is also the plant that processes all our poultry, poultry jerky, and other specialty items.
Okay.
Our meat is raised in our own barnyard and then cut, wrapped, and packaged at our USDA-inspected plant. The same USDA-inspected plant that processes our products is also the plant that processes all our poultry, poultry jerky, and other specialty
I think they're really
items.
emphasizing that
Awards.
USDA plant.
Merrick has been awarded the following awards. Merrick has received many other prestigious awards, including the following. Merrick is also the #1 pet food brand for dogs by Pet IQ and #6 on the Best Buy list for pet products, pet food, and supplies.
Well, that was kind of funny. They was really emphasizing like we use a USDA inspected plant. Don't question it. We're using it. Don't worry. Oh, God. Let's not do another advertisement. Let's see if I can find... Oh, I know what we need to do. Where is Amazon? Amazon. I was looking up shirts, so I'm just going to click one of the shirt stuff. Or can I just... Yeah, or just copy that. Hopefully it does it kind of right. So, I'm not going to have it read out the entire thing. Oh, it didn't actually add much. Made in U.S., no outsourced, now U.S. manufacturer. All designs were made and sewn in our Chicago studio. That's boring. Let's put a review. Let's put a semi-short review. Let's go with this one. It's 3 stars. Need a breakaway? Okay, talk to you later then. Okay, let's read the rest of this review that never got written.
I love the materials and the philosophy of the company. The sleeves are kind of conspicuously, oddly long, in my opinion. If your work situation requires short sleeves actually down to your elbows to cover body art, for example, this might be a great option for you. You can get these in either a light gray or black color. As a bonus, I got some of the first samples of this, so I am getting to use it already. I am still waiting on the rest of the samples. However, here are some photos of it. Sewing. The sleeves are designed to be sewn, and you need a sewing machine to do this. I would say the instructions for getting them to fit is pretty simple, but not for the purist. I recommend starting with the basic sewing machine instructions and using it to figure out the sleeve placement.
So I guess it's a build your own shirt, which I guess is interesting. You just buy the fabric and just build your own shirt. Pretty simple, right? Let's see. I know this came out recently. Let's see if there's any descriptions or anything like that. There we go. We'll grab the first 4 or 5 lines of this. Let's learn about Luigi's Mansion. Okay, Luigi Mansion with Link and Zelda, apparently.
Luigi's dream vacation turns into a ghostly and gooey nightmare. Luigi embarks on a dream vacation with Mario and friends upon receiving an invitation to a luxurious hotel. However, his dream quickly becomes a nightmare when King Boo reveals everything had been a ploy to capture Mario and friends. The plot of this video game is similar to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, where a hero is sent on a journey to free the 7 wise men from the Curse of the Ganon, who is believed to possess the power to destroy Hyrule. However, in the latter game, the hero is sent to a land filled with peril and has to fight enemies and solve puzzles before escaping. This time, the hero, whose real name is unknown, is sent on a quest to rescue Princess Peach from the evil King Koopa. As the game's subtitle suggests, Bowser is one of the villains.
I'm pretty sure the new Luigi Mansion the subtitle does not suggest Bowser as one of the villains. Primarily because I think the subtitle is just 3. I think. Let's see, is there any short, yep. Let's grab this one. Grab this short little comment. Okay, I don't know how it's gonna read that underscore, so I'm gonna see if I can skip it. If it reads it bad.
This is a great game. If you like the first 2 in this series, you will definitely enjoy this one. It's amazing. I can't stop playing. My new favorite, for sure. If you're on the fence about it, don't be. It's another Nintendo Instant Classic. _blank 4-7, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, Nintendo 64. This is the game where it all begins. It's the perfect gateway game. If you play it right, you can enter the world of The Legend of Zelda. And The Legend of Zelda has a lot to offer. You can pick from many characters,
No.
each with their own weapons and armor. The weapons are great. The armor is very well designed. The music is just as great. The graphics are great. The dungeons are so easy that they are practically endless. And of course, the game is great for those who are looking to.
And the dungeons are so easy that they're practically endless. I have no clue what those dungeons are right now. Because I'm just like, okay. But we are reaching the end of the stream. So I hope you all have a good night. And I'll talk to you all Sunday. So bye-bye.